you know about the Sierra program?
Reckless mystery men you guys send in when you can't officially send anyone else.
The Gray Man.
Gentlemen, how are you both doing today?
Good. How are you?
Really, really good. So, The Gray Man, congratulations.
Thank you.
Huge, huge, huge action movie. Like, even within the action sequences, there's little action sequences within action sequences,
Yes.
and I love that.
Exhausting to make.
I can only imagine. One can only imagine. But especially during pandemic, I guess, because then there's everything else on top of that. But for yourselves, I would picture this as like a really good example of a perfect Friday night movie where you're like, I need to watch something fun and explosions, and I'm having a good time.
That's everything that we intended to do with the film. So I'm glad it spoke to you.
Well, congratulations.
Yes.
Then. For yourselves, if you're sitting in on a Friday night and you're like, I want to put on my ultimate action movie, my ultimate Friday night movie, and obviously you can't pick The Gray Man because that's cheating.
Yeah.
What would you put on?
Die Hard.
Yeah, I was going to say Die
We say
Hard.
Die Hard?
Too, yeah.
Die Hard, Lethal Weapon,
Yeah.
Ronin.
Ronin.
What else?
That's a good show.
Yeah, Ronin just doesn't get the attention that it deserves. I mean,
Car chases.
yeah, it's like Frankenheimer using all of his powers.
If you want to lean into the funny more, Midnight Run.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a
Yeah,
good one,
Midnight Run.
but still within the genre nominally.
Yeah. If you want to go outside the genre a little bit, Flash Gordon, I can watch Flash Gordon any time of the day.
That's a lot of fun.
It's a sing-along.
It does have like a Rocky Horror vibe where
It
you're just
does,
like, you
yeah.
could watch it with a crowd and everyone
Yeah.
knows every single moment of it. Within The Grey Man, as I mentioned, the set pieces are phenomenal. And just even like the tram sequence, I was like, oh God. Just the logistics of it, I was trying
Yeah.
to work out from behind the scenes. I was like, I can't imagine how much preparation it must have taken. But was there one particular stunt within the movie where you're like, okay, we're going to need all hands on deck for this because this is the tricky one?
The Gray Man falling out of the plane was a very complicated process to figure that out. Him falling through the air.
That
It
did
involved a combination of practical photography and heavy visual effect work. But we went through a long process of experimentation and figuring out the right way to do that.
Casting Chris in this, I think people were a little bit prepped thanks to Knives Out.
Yep.
Like, oh, he can be a
Yep.
very believable douchebag. Good for him. And he was that in this plus sociopath.
Yeah.
So it was a perfect mix. And obviously The Grey Man is the first in a potential series of movies regarding this character. Is there anyone else hidden within the MCU or any movie that you've worked on that you think has been perceived as being a good guy? Because Chris is Captain America. He's like the goodest of guys, and you get to see him be awful. Is there someone who's been a good guy and you're like, we know you've got it in you to be a fantastic villain?
And one level, there's so many great actors. Any great actor can go there, right? And there's a lot of great actors in the MCU. But the first person that popped into my head when you asked the question was Anthony Mackie.
Weirdly, I thought of Paul Rudd.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because his road recently he was kind of a douchebag in that, is it The Therapist Next Door?
That's
maybe?
right. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yes.
I could see that.
Yeah, he can. I'd like to see him go unhinged.
A lot of these stars, they're so handsome, they're so appealing, they're so charismatic. Like, you're right, everybody wants to see them in these sort of positive hero roles, protagonist roles. But yeah, they've got they all have the life experiences that go bad. We all do.
Yeah, I and obviously it's just a lot of fun to see like Chris and actors of that ilk where you're like, you're just having a ball being bad. And it just must be fun for them to be like, I'm getting to kind of subvert what the audience is expecting of me.
It's the entertainment factor of just turning them loose, you know. And Lloyd loves being an asshole. So, it's part of the entertainment factors. It's really like watching Chris. And we worked with George Clooney years ago, and I remember he told us this. He said, it's really hard playing the leading man because your job is to let everyone else steal the scenes from you. Now Chris gets to steal the scenes. He no longer has to play the leading man. And it's entertaining and fun. And I think as an audience member, a bit of, there's a weird wish fulfillment where you get to see them be the opposite of who they've been.
And one final question, if that's okay. I asked about the Ultimate Friday Night movie. For me, it genuinely is, and it's not just because we're here, it is The Winter Soldier.
Wow.
That's clear.
Just love that movie to bits. Is there any director or directors out there that haven't worked within the MCU yet that you think you'd love to see brought in and bring their particular?
Oh, that's easy for me.
Yeah.
Duffer Brothers.
I was gonna-
Are you say the Duffer Brothers?
yeah.
I mean, they kind of did it with season 4 of Stranger Things. I mean, that was like, I got to the end of that and I was like, that is as big as anything I've seen. The scale of the ensemble, the way everyone got their moments, the scale of the set pieces. And I was like, wow, they have ascended into the ranks of the biggest filmmakers in the world.
So since you said that, I'll go with another directing duo, the Daniels,
Oh, interesting.
especially after Everything Everywhere.
By the way, I heard they got asked to do Loki and they turned it down.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting combination, the Daniels doing Loki.
There's season 2.
Yeah.
They could come around.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you
All right,
so much.
pleasure. That
Really
was
appreciate
fun.
it. Great. That was
Thank you
awesome.
so much.
Maybe not anybody.